And welcome to the No Name Yet podcast. That is the podcast with no name. And on tonight's show, after a long time, Mo.
Listen, when I come back, it needs to be much more excitement. I held it down during the telethon. I held it down. You know what? For a lot of shows right now, okay? And I had a wonderful time. So I need more like praise MVP, okay?
Well, you you
Held
you
it
bar-
down.
you barely made it to the telethon.
I made it on time. Do not listen to this man at all. I was 10 minutes before everything started. And guess what? Nothing was set up. So it was like perfect for me because none of it was even set up. So I just came
Well,
in, I was
a lot of it
ready.
was set up. We talked about Brittany and I
Okay,
talked about it in the last episode.
listen, Pastor,
I'm
you
listening.
was about to throw your laptop across the room, and that's how much you hate technology. And I don't blame you, but I did a lot. I was emotional support. Don't
You
forget
were
that.
you were emotional support.
I was your emotional support black man. So I held it down in many ways, and I need that credit done.
You
I
get
worked
that
hard.
credit. There's no
Yeah,
argument here.
I'm not asking for like a Grammy or an Oscar, but definitely deserve more than that.
A Jamesy.
Yes, yeah. Give me a Jamesy. What's an online video thing YouTube does? I don't know. Give me
I
my
don't
plat
know.
right now. Give me my YouTube plat right now. Like skip the whole subscriber thing. I need my plat right now. MVP.
Okay, you win. You win this trophy.
I don't want none of anything. Oh man, that's the start of a AA meeting.
So before I ask you what you've been up to,
Yeah.
um, last week I changed glasses because I wasn't going to promote anything for at least a while on the show.
Hmm.
So I had a nice clear glass, and this episode I have my seltzer water in a wine glass.
Wow. I respect your game. Seltzer water tastes like crap, but I respect you. Disgusting.
So do you think I should? I think I should drink it with my pinky up.
You should, you fancy loser. Oh, you. Ugh. God, that is worse than iced coffee to me.
Oh, you don't like iced coffee?
I can't stand iced coffee. It's trash. Everybody that drinks iced coffee around me gets made fun of. I think it's just a nasty taste, and it just doesn't go down correctly. I don't know. I like my cold drinks sweet, like juice, like soda, maybe Pepsi, caffeinated and juice, not caffeinated and beans. Cold. I don't like cold beans. How about that? I don't like any cold beans. I don't like beans in any shape or form cold.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's the
Um,
best way to put it.
well, I drink hot and cold coffee every day
Hmm.
because I start drinking my coffee, and by the time I finish it, it's ice cold.
Oh damn, you're a psychopath. I pour it out. I'll get a new cup. I don't play with that.
Sometimes I
I'll
reheat it
microwave.
in the microwave, but
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do a 40-second run if it's halfway. I'm not doing no cold coffee. Disgusting. It took me a long time just to start eating cold pizza. I digress.
so so what have you been up to?
um, so is that's a great question. I walked on my girlfriend and future sister-in-law, cold floor during that last winter storm, and I basically got a cold the next day. That lasted 2 weeks, which was hell. Um, I basically be, the whole time. I barked, I wagged my tail, I complained. I was I was just not in the right mind, and I was just mad because I don't like getting sick, and it was a genuine reason to get sick. I walked on cold floor. Like that's like everybody knows that rule, like right? Like do not walk on your floors, socks, cold floor, breathing. And I mean, especially if you know it's negative out there and you have it like matching negative degrees in the home, it's like ridiculous. So,
Why didn't you wear any slippers?
you know. At the time, I that weekend I had forgot
Okay.
that I had my sleep, so I have to buy a pair for their house as well.
Okay.
You know, so
And
it
how's
is
Jay
what it is.
doing?
I can make a joke, but whatever, huh?
And how's Jay doing?
She's doing well. She's doing well. We see each other every day. She's my mentor, so she's a lot of the time she's teaching me how to do my job correctly, because she's been in the game so long, and that's been really helpful. So I actually fell in love with what I am doing right now.
Your teaching job.
Yeah, like and being an educator, right? Because technically I don't have all my credits to be a teacher in a classroom or even a co-teacher. So a lot of my time spent is with children, right? Like I get to like, when I not only just lunch and dismissal, but like a lot of it is being called to do, multiple work, and I create my interaction with children. And because I've been doing this for so long, right? Just going to a teacher, um and helping them, say, hey, look, I'll take your kids to the bathroom, make sure everybody's good. If they're having behavioral problems, I'm in the hallway, or I'm helping teachers out with little things that they want, right? And I'm there and I'm saying, okay, well, what can I do? And then a lot of it is like learning from the teachers. And because one day they may be sick, you got COVID, you got all this stuff, so maybe they may be sick, and I have to go in there and then teach a lesson. So paying attention to a lot of what they're doing in the culture and how it's supposed to be doing, and then also seeing maybe examples you don't really like, and seeing different personalities and different grades, and saying, okay, this person's a great leader. Let's mimic that behavior.
Hmm.
It really teaches you like, oh, like how to stay in toes. So I get to have, sometimes a kid may react and they're running in the hallway, and again, that kid is not in my, I don't have that class. None of these kids are like, I'm not in their place in the class. But to sit down and give that kid a break, especially a young black student, doesn't matter the color, but I really enjoy when it's black students, and they do have those moments. You sit down with them and you talk to them about things and their anger, and find new tactics. One of my favorite things is there was a student, and I can't say his name, parents not any on this earth anymore, so that he's adopted. And I'm giving this information because immediately, as I like all these kids, regardless of their personality, I see myself, because I went through all their phases and worse. You know what I'm saying? So Mr. Young knows exactly what these kids. I went to group homes, and they don't have to go to group homes to learn the lessons I made learn. So like this young kid, he was just struggling with regulating his emotion. He would have outbursts, and so that type of like language and understanding where it comes from as a man, and be like, okay, well, I know where it's coming from. And it was a lot of a conversation. It was just building relationship. And I'm not in his class, I'm not his teacher, right? But he came out in the hallway, he's acted out enough that I got to talk to him and encourage him and make a relationship with him. And that relationship built in, correlated little by little, to where when he is upset, he may talk to me. He knows he'll go to the counselor, he'll go to Miss J, he'll go to the adults, and really try to regulate himself and learn these strategies for himself. And then it got so point, like, he's a drummer at a church, like the family church, and he's only in second grade, and he's a great drummer. I mean, they just started that for him, as a reward for like growing, and then just allowing himself to like learn these new tactics. as a young black man, and learn these tactics and understand like it's not all bad, and we're here to support you, but we're going to give you the tools to make sure that you reach your fullest potential. This kid is fantastic. I mean, he has teachers stopping at the end of the day and going, who is playing the drums like that? They
Mm.
thinking it's like adults. This kid
Uh-huh.
is amazing.
Wow.
So amazing.
Well, it
I,
sounds like a
I
good
definitely want to.
opportunity for you.
Yes, yes. It's been a ball.
Well,
So that's a lot of what's been going on for me. And, I've been making some really great relationships and meeting some really fantastic women who are great mentors and men who are great mentors. And, one guy, Rodiga, he's always saying to me, he's like, man, I was a sub for this amount of years. Listen, do not rush it. Do not force it. Learn, grow, see what you can get from this, and slowly take your time into it. And you will be happier in the end. And I'm like, this is a man who's at peace. This is a man I respect. This is a man that has a very good uncle. Like he gave me a hug one time, and it was he just hugged me, and it was just like, yeah, I love this. Like to just get a hug at your job because somebody is like, you work hard. You're always involved. That I love my job. Like if I'm not there, I feel really like out of like place. I'm like, I don't like it. I didn't like being sick.
right.
Um,
Do you
so
feel the same way when you haven't come to church for weeks?
no, not at all. I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad.
Well, I'm hoping you're going to come this week.
Oh, I have to come, so
Right.
I have to come, and I need to get out the house, and I need my normalcy.
Well, we're having in worship Sunday school.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So thank
Awesome.
you for sharing about your job, and I'm sorry that you were sick. And
Yeah, me too.
we have two two things to talk about tonight.
Hmm.
And the first is a TV show that you turned me on to,
Yes.
and I'm gonna play the trailer right now.
We eagerly await the 40th anniversary, the day Marvelous Man appeared from the skies.
For 4 decades, I have protected you.
I saved you.
What happened? There are no words to properly express. And what we've lost as a species, as a planet.
He was murdered.
Who killed Marvelous Man?
Our enemies will continue to fear us.
Who is going to save us?
Rhino from Guardians of Justice. Where are you?
There's a power vacuum that can rip this world apart. Marvelous Man didn't just protect a city or a town. He protected the world. Now that's on us. What do you know that I don't?
You need to look at the Guardians themselves.
Him being gone doesn't make you automatically in charge.
Marvelous Man was a crutch, a drug.
A witness or a murderer.
The Guardians of Justice will save you.
Okay, Pastor. So I don't know if that's gonna, because it did do a lot of tricky things, um, towards one point. So you might have to just like edit the thing in at one point. But Pastor, what do you think of what do you? First of all, you watched the show yourself. You finished?
I did. And I actually had to go back and watch the end again because I forgot how it ended.
Wow.
But I've been doing that a lot lately. I think I'm just doing too much stuff.
Well, I guess. Well, we're not gonna talk about for anybody that
Yeah, we won't
may
do
come
any
across. We
spoilers.
won't do any spoilers. I'll say that I'm not big on spoilers. What let's go about the first, at least the first two episodes. Though I think those are like, give me your summary on those first two episodes, your opinion on it, and your take, especially since it's definitely a satire. And I want to put that out there first too. It's a satire.
I think it's brilliant.
Yes.
I think, after the first episode, I thought to myself, what the heck am I watching? I don't know if I like it or I don't like it. Because it's live action, it's animation, it's
claymation, digital art,
video graphics.
Yes.
In like 1980s, 1990s video graphics. Definitely through all the episode, it's 1980s, early 90s video game music in the background.
Yep.
I mean, it's
throwing some modern anime style into it. It has it is the perfect blend of media. I didn't think something like that would be possible, and because I've never seen media blended like that so well, that's what really made me say this is brilliant. This is genuinely brilliant. And that's the part what I was saying that was better than The Boys, right? In terms of that, like the artistic direction, right? No comparison. I think the art, The Boys does what it does. And I think that when it's come to satire, The Boys is hands down perfection, right? Like delicious artwork. It's beautiful media. But like this series, so short and so powerful, emotionally, mentally, and it just like gives you early, it tells you to go to your doctor, open your butthole, and like get checked. For colon, for colon cancer, it just does all this to you. It's like, do you have colon cancer? It makes you question everything in such a positive way, and I love it.
That's not a critique that I thought I was going to hear tonight.
Yeah. Well, you needed to check your health. You needed to check your mind, your mental state, because that show will genuinely give you on a freaking roller coaster of like, what is this? Why is this happening? And I think that first open scene with the big superhero that's quote unquote Superman and how that began, Marvelous Man. Yeah. That big opening with him worldwide thing was just delicious. You didn't know where that was going, and when it went there, it was like beep, like it was just like it took over, and I was like, what is this now? That's how I felt. I was like blown away that's where the direction of the story was now taken. And then we had our Batman, who was why do I forget his character name? Because you just think Batman.
Nighthawk,
yeah. Nighthawk was fantastic. He was this middle-aged and he was just beating up people.
You think that he reminded
I think he was gruffy you, and I loved him. I think he was angry you. I think he was you that just did not want to come back from the dark side, started boxing and jujitsu, and was like, I'm just gonna beat everybody's ass.
But it is very dark.
Yes.
It is very dark. It's in an alternate universe.
Yeah.
They are on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
There's the United States, and then there's the Russians.
Yeah. And it's the KKK that became equality. Think about that.
Yeah. And I just drew a blank on what their country was called.
I always draw a blank because the concept is just too freaking funny. The KKK is equality now. They're equality. Everybody can join them as long as you want to live a boring life.
Oh yeah. When they go to the KKK country, there's black men running around in
Wait,
the
wait.
whites and the hoods and
Yes,
yeah.
perfect. It was just a perfect way of humor and I don't know, just middle finger to anything and every concept that we value in so many ways. It was like you hate magic. You talked about like this. Let me do this. You don't like aliens. You don't like this. You don't like that. Blah 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 blah. How about we just f up everything you believe in, destroy what you believe in, and there'll be none of what you want to believe in. No hope. This show is like no hope. There is no hope in this universe, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, it is. It probably is satire on like government and
Yeah,
drug use,
yeah,
drug peddling.
yeah.
Or,
I mean, sex, everything. It's just like
how
you
people
just
are manipulated by the media.
yeah. Like I'm telling you, I thought it was a lot of satire done. I truly believe it's satire, and I think it's just satire you with more of like towards like you said the government type of mindset, right? Like when governments have so much power that they're like still messing with nuclear weapons but decide every now and then we'll just try to fight each other. It's like if everybody was on like press the button mode, like the president of the United States, it's like he's always ready to press the button. The Russia, the nice, they're like he's like, I don't really want to press the button, but I'll press the button. It's like if every country's ego went too far. And it's the best. It's like they just said, just times America by 100. And what would that look like? Time Russia by 100. What would that look? And it just kept doing it to everybody. And it was like, yeah, that makes sense.
So it's on Netflix.
Yeah.
And for somebody who might be curious to watch it, just be prepared to have all your senses assaulted with all the imagery and the music and the
Yes.
sound.
Mm-hmm. Sit there, watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, sit there, watch it. You just want nothing that should be right in life, and you want it to all fall apart in front of you. Watch this show. I think we all need that once in a while. I think we just need to see the worst of the worst once in a while in some media and just be like, yeah, let's not have that happen in real life.
Right. I mean, this show, just a disclaimer, this show isn't for everybody. If you're looking for something to lift your spirits and for something light, you may want to skip this over. But if you want to be engaged and sometimes overwhelmed with the image and the sound, and to really
feel like you want to curse but don't curse for you Christians out there, yeah, it's
I
all
was just
that.
I was overtaken by the amount of production that went into it.
Yeah.
I mean, the actors and the actresses are probably doing almost all the acting in front of a green screen.
Yes. 7 episodes, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and that was perfect. It was perfect. It was the perfect number. Usually, like Gritty always says, "Oh, I only watch short shows," and I disagree with him. I'm like, "Ew, that's disgusting." Unless I'm watching a documentary, but this was the perfect show, right?
Well,
with
30
everything,
minutes a piece,
30 minutes a piece.
And that 30 minutes feels like an hour.
Yes. Yes. I didn't feel the 30 minutes into the last 2 episodes. And at that point, I was peed off really bad because I knew it was about to end. And I was mad. And then my Netflix had the nerve to recommend everything that had nothing similar to that. I was like, disgusting. How dare you offer me anime after this? And I love anime.
So I definitely I mean, I don't want to give it a precise score, but I definitely give it 2 thumbs up.
I give it a 10 out of 10, period. There's nothing I could say. It's perfection in its own way. Of course, it could do things different. Everything can, but like what it tried to do, it succeeded. Period.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they took a chance on something new. Maybe it's not new. Maybe people can go in the comment and be like, you're wrong. That's been out. That stylist has been done. I don't know. Recommend it to me. But until then, this was the best thing of blending media I've ever seen. Period.
It really
I don't.
stands out from everything else that's out there.
Yeah, and that's why once you see it, you're like, oh, you want a little bit more of that once in a while. Like I hope that like this comes out once a year. Like generally, like take your time, bring this out. I will be faithfully watching it when it pops up on my feed.
Because I've given up on a couple shows lately.
Really?
Yeah, I gave up on. I was really happy to see that there were 2 more seasons to Lost in Space.
Yeah.
Which is on Netflix. I don't know if it started on Netflix, but all 3 episodes. I think all 3 seasons are on Netflix now, and I stopped watching it. I got sick of it.
You want me to give you another recommendation?
Well, let me just say why I got sick of it.
Okay.
Because the Robinson family could do no wrong. It was like, oh, the Robinsons. I mean, everything, no matter how insignificant, everything was a tragedy. Everything was, was like some humongous obstacle that had to be overcome. And of course, the Robinsons came through.
Yeah.
And I just was like, okay, we know the Robinsons are brilliant, and I just don't want to see them excel for another episode. I'm tired of it.
Yeah, somebody needs a consequence.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's funny because Lost in Space has been out for a while, and it's I find shows like that bubblegum TV. You just chew on it, and you're like, okay, and then the flavor runs out, and you're like,
So I just
until somebody dies, I don't care anymore. I guarantee you, if somebody was like, Richard Moran, the daughter dies, you'll be like, let's go, come running back. You're like, yes, she's dead.
Well, I read how it ended, and I'm kind of glad that I didn't stick with it.
Oh no, yeah, that's worse. That's usually what bubblegum shows do. I stay away from bubblegum. They're just like, some people really just watch something where like the family always wins. I'm like, no, family doesn't always win. Somebody like should have joined the other team. Maybe the dad. Yeah, so that's interesting. Here's my recommendation: Upload. Great series. Yeah. So the gist of it, I'll give you.
I watched it.
You watched it, so then you know of it. You watched most of it. You got to season 2.
Is season 2 out?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I watched season 1. I was waiting for season 2.
Yep, season 2 is out. Jay is watching it.
Okay.
While we do this.
Oh, okay. This minute she's watching it.
Yeah.
And that's on what?
I believe Amazon.
Amazon.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't think it's not really a spoiler. It's a show about people who die, who get uploaded. Their consciousness gets uploaded.
Yeah, but they basically choose if they want to get uploaded or not.
Yeah.
And your credit card is still accessible, and you better have good credit. and deaf, you better have good credit, and you better make sure that your girlfriend doesn't take your credit card and switches your name over for anything.
Yeah, no, I thought that was a pretty creative show.
Very creative. Yeah.
Okay.
So there you go. We gave you a recommendation. We should definitely continue helping you guys out with shows.
So the other thing that we're going to talk about today is what everybody else is talking about today, and probably for at least a couple more days during the week.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time I drop this on Friday, hopefully it's not too dead.
No,
But
definitely make this clip out there and throw that out there.
The Oscars and Will Smith smacking Chris Rock. So I'm inviting you, Mo, to share your take on that.
Oh man, Pastor, you definitely have to go first. I gotta
Okay.
I have too many takes. Go ahead.
Since I've listened to what some other people have said, this is the bottom line with me at this point. I am very angry with Will Smith. I think it was out of line, and I don't even feel bad for him. I think it's just a real shame that he's going to look every time he looks at that Oscar. That's what he did that night is going to overshadow
him
earning that Oscar.
Yeah, and that was supposed to be his first one. I keep hearing,
and I think that he's part of a class of people that feel that the rules don't apply to them. And I thought that Chris Rock showed how much of a powerhouse he is as a comedian and a professional.
I love your take. Let's first start off with the fact that me and you have probably asked people about at work what their take was, and I predominantly work with white people, and I also ask my Spanish, my blacks, women. I make sure to make as many people in different areas as possible, right? Because I think this is such a unique topic to have with people in your life, right? And people around you. The men that I know were saying they weren't mad at Will Smith. They said they should Chris Rock should have watched his mouth. You don't talk about men wives. And I took that into consideration. Now, I did say, and I think the two gentlemen, one of the gentlemen ignored me on it, but I was also I wasn't offended because of culturally differently and how these things are perceived, especially if politically, blah blah blah, especially in America about women. And a lot of it was just because she was a woman and she should have been no one should have made fun of her. And then I looked up her disease, and other people looked it up, and they were like, well, she has alopecia, whatever it's called. No, to not disrespect any woman that faces this, I just don't know how to pronounce it correctly. Alopecia, thank you. A lot of women said it's not a harmful thing. It's not going to kill you. It's just emotionally damaging for a lot of women because it's their hair, and women value their hair very strongly, especially in our culture. I mean, around the world, right? Mm-hmm. But generally, hair for women is strength, and it has a cultural, religion. No matter what it is, right? Women really value their hair, and we respect that. But in hindsight, right? Now I stop there because now I'm gonna get reckless. Chris Rock was paid as a comedian to be a comedian for the Oscars. Let me just say that. Let me first say this. He was paid at the Oscars to be a comedian. He is not me. He is not my pastor. He is not a bum on the street who decided to break into the Oscars and perform. He is Chris effing Rock, one of my favorite comedians, but I'm going to separate that, right? That man has made fun of everybody, anybody for years. Mm-hmm. He is a comic. Let's now stay on this comic point. Will is also a comic. Period.
Well, he is.
Period.
And the issue that I have with people criticizing the joke was that comedy is hit and miss.
Yes.
And
yes.
Where one comedian can go over a certain line and another comedian can't.
Yes.
You know, of course, comedy is subjective, but comedy is hit and miss. And especially in that venue, the amount of flack that people get.
Yes. Bill Burr.
These award shows.
Kept hard.
And that's why I loved it when Ricky Gervais just flattened everybody at the Golden Globes and pretty much told them they were a bunch of empty shirts that were going to go get up to the microphone and virtue signal. You know, I don't even know why a comedian would want to do it besides the money.
Yeah.
And maybe the fame, but you know, I mean, that could go either way.
Hollywood learned last time when Chris Rock and I don't know what off the top of my head, what other comedians did a few shows. They learned by having a comic host and allow a comic to humble the stars in front of the world sells. And they were correct. It sold and it increased their numbers because we always clicked in to Chris Rock, Bill Burr. We clicked in because we knew who these men were. And we said, are they going to do what we think they're going to do? I'm going to watch that, period. These men are hands down geniuses and masters at their craft. And we came, and Oscar winners, they know who they are. They know what they came from. They know what these men are going to do. So I say that to say that people who shut up. You have no say about comedy. Comedy is comedy, and I will always defend a comic, period. Because I understand the art. And normal people, regular people, you don't obviously get it. It is hard. Research, learn it, read about it, learn what it is, history and all. It is hard to do what those men do and women do. So before you come and criticize other people's jokes, remember this. You are not battling the system and breaking it down and digesting and speaking to everybody's hearts and making people laugh on a regular basis and breaking down the such. You're not doing it. You don't know how hard that is. So shut up when it comes to criticizing somebody's joke. A professional.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, there's comedians have been talking for a long time that, you know, there's just certain venues that they feel they can't go into or they're afraid to go into. Somebody takes video, you know, puts it out there. Yeah, that goes viral. They start threatening to cancel the comedian.
Yeah, sometimes you just go to a nice bar and you just practice some jokes, right? And that's how comics learn to perform the bigger ones, right? They go in these smaller venues and they'll just go random places and they'll just jump on stage or stand in front of a crowd and just practice jokes, right? And that's how they know what works and doesn't work. They got to go in a white crowd. That doesn't work with the white crowd. They got to go with the black crowd. This works with the black crowd, but this doesn't work with the white. You got to keep doing it and doing it, mixing it and mixing. It is a hard art and it takes a lot of work.
When did America get to be so weak?
When we allowed it to. Here's the beauty, and we'll come back to that because that's definitely something we can come back to, right? Let's stick on the comic. I just wanted to stick to that comic part because the connecting dot while we're still on this spider web, this pyramid, as we get to the tip part, and I feel like it's going to be clear, is that I remember 6 years ago, Jada had a problem with Chris Rock making jokes before.
Yeah, I've got that here.
Yeah. You want to show that?
Well, I'll read it. I just have that article.
Yeah, read that.
So he so back, I think it was 2016. Yeah, he took a jab at Pinkett Smith opening monologue after she posted a video boycotting the Oscars due to the lack of diversity. Jada, and this is Chris Rock. Jada said she's not coming. I was like, isn't she on a TV show? Jada's gonna boycott the Oscars. Jada boycotting the Oscars is like me boycotting Rihanna's panties. I wasn't invited. The comedian continued. It's not fair that Will was this good and didn't get nominated. You're right. It's also not fair that Will was paid $20 million for Wild Wild West. I mean,
Fantastic.
Good jokes.
Is a good joke.
And the media is trying to make it look like there's been this beef between them.
No.
And then they bring up a tweet from 2018 that Will Smith posted a birthday tribute to his ex-wife Cherie Zampino. They share a 29-year-old daughter, Trey Smith. In the post, he says, "Happy B-Day. Best baby mama ever. I love you, Riri." And Rock comments, "Wow, you have an understanding wife," prompting Zampino to respond, "Don't hate."
Yeah.
I mean, I don't get like why that's even mentionable.
Well, it's very funny because Chris Rock and rumors and people have talked about it. They said that like when people ask, "Do you have beef with Chris Rock?" Chris Rock, I believe, answer was around the lines of like from what I've been hearing and back in the day was like he doesn't have a problem. Will, I was told, I remember this, and told and heard from podcasting, he doesn't have a problem. He has a lot of love for Will, and it's like he believes Will has a good joke. And it was said circulation that they had a conversation, and Will expressed that Jada was offended, and they talked like men. And that was what was said, right? Mm-hmm. And so the Chris Rock, to him, is like he's a comic, and all people are funny, but like the man cheated on his own wife and made jokes about his stupidity.
Well, didn't she cheat on him too?
Perhaps, but he definitely said he cheated first. So
you're talking about Will Smith.
No, I was talking about Chris Rock.
Oh,
like he
Chris
had his
Rock.
divorce.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
His divorce. If she, but he cheated on his wife. He made fun of that. That was a whole thing. He humbled himself. The man is about humbling himself, and generally, black comics and the black community just genuinely look at Chris Rock as a humble guy. He's not a man that people say you can't talk to. He will feel bad. I always remember that now that I know that he's on the spectrum, right? Like he came out found out he was on the spectrum. I look at him completely different. I'm like, wow, your brain is brilliant. Like this is your brain. People on the spectrum, let's remember that people on the spectrum don't always recognize how they're impacting people emotionally. Let's go there for like you can even use that. That's he's confirmed this. They struggle with that. He found out years later he was on the spectrum, and he talks about how it got him in a lot of problems and people angry with him. He just could not understand certain things or why what certain things wasn't getting to him a certain way, a message. So you remember that and you go, okay, well, Chris Rock probably didn't realize that his joke was tasteless and how it made effect. And he came out and said, "Hey, I didn't know she had alopecia." This is his word, whether he knew it before or not. We cannot question it, and we're not going to doubt somebody if they say they didn't know. I'm not going to do that. He said he didn't know. He didn't know. And no offense, he never called her ugly. He made a joke. She felt something because of her hair and her sensitivity to her hair. Mm-hmm. The joke wasn't like horrific. He wasn't calling her sugar mama. He wasn't calling her precious. He wasn't making a Candyman joke. He wasn't making a Little Bill joke. He wasn't. He wasn't.
I don't even know what that last thing it was you said. Do I need
A Little Bill joke?
A Little Bill?
Little Bill. You don't know about Little Bill?
No.
You know, Little Bill?
I don't know. I don't know what that is.
What? Well, you're going to have to go look up Little Bill now. That's crazy. We're not going to go nowhere further. So, next point. Smacking Rock. That's the wrong man to smack. After, I don't care if you say that you and your wife had an agreement to sleep with other people. I don't give a crap. I don't even want, if I gotta go to school every day and tell a second grader, you don't put your hands on nobody. We don't communicate like that. For them to watch Will effing Smith, a man that I look up to like Chris Rock, who I grew up admiring as a black man, for me to watch one of my idols have a public announcement talking about, Chucky, a man that talks with his hands. A man that talks with hands is not going to see, do all this telling how we shouldn't use our hands to speak, and we need to be smarter to do a something like that back in the day, and then turn around. Yep. And then turn around and put your hands on another man that wasn't the man that slept with your woman, and then announced it to the world. That your woman literally said on camera, basically, and let you cry and shed no tears for your emotion.
You saw his acceptance speech?
A lot of crying in the last 6 years for Will Smith, and it's been driving me crazy.
I thought the acceptance speech was pathetic. I mean,
it was horrible. You have the nerve.
I mean, that's really where I lost my respect for him. Trying to justify it through tears and bring God into it.
I was like, dude, are we a white woman now? Like, I was upset. I was like, what the hell is this? I'm like, you just flip gender. Change your gender, buddy. I respect it. I will call you.
I mean, I could see him being upset because, it's his wife. But the thing about it was initially he laughed at the joke.
Yes.
And
yes.
It just seems to me that it all could have been handled after the cameras were off.
Yes. Because the wife, the woman in this situation, not all women, but the woman in this situation was at fault. Wasn't the problem. She got upset. She got hurt. Not Will. She did. And you wanted to go defend her honor? But let me ask you a question. The man that I look up to, and I will continue to look up to, because I pray to God that your mental health, that you look at yourself and all the work you did, because you don't just represent yourself, you represent all of us. And everything I do in a school and public, your art, what you brought to my life, both men, I can't take back. You help save me from dark places. Both men. I met Chris Rock when I was a kid. Fanboy, couldn't speak. I looked up to Will Smith all my life, like many black boys growing up in the 90s. And let me tell you, I've never been disappointed. This is like this is like me being disappointed to my big brother. Like, this is wild to me. I've never been so disappointed. And a man like Will Smith, that was not right. at all, and you knew that was the man. Chris Rock is the man you could have pulled to the side. I truly, and with all my heart, believe you could have pulled that man to the side, and he would have apologized on stage for you and your wife. I truly believe that. And I know you know that man. And maybe other black stars, but Dave Chappelle, Kevin Hart, all these great stars, I've never heard nobody speak.
Speaking of Dave Chappelle.
Yes.
I may have given Will Smith a pass if he had smacked Chris Rock like this. If he had hit him like that. I might have given him a pass.
Oh, the good old Dave Chappelle. I waited for 5 minutes, and then I walked up to him.
That's Dave Chappelle. That's Dave Chappelle imitating Howard Dean.
Listen, that was great. I'm glad you took me off just for that. I love that. That was a great skit. But I'm gonna go at Jada. I'm going at Jada. I'm going at her.
All right, be careful.
I'm not gonna be. I'm gonna be very respectful. I'm gonna be very respectful.
Okay.
Because, I know what it feels like as a young black man, and I escaped it, to love somebody so deeply, even when they don't acknowledge your feelings as a man, you don't acknowledge it for their sake. And let me tell you, it's the worst feeling you ever do. You will do things as a man you should never do because you're holding in feelings that should be expressed, because you believe that you should not express them for a woman's sake. And that is not what any man or woman.
So you're saying that that's what
Will
Smith does?
Let me get to that. When they sat at that red table, I remember him crying, expressing his feelings and how it felt.
What Red Table?
Red Table is a show that Jada Smith runs on Facebook. It's a very popular show.
Oh, okay.
6 years ago, that's where the entanglement came from.
Okay.
If you haven't seen it, definitely go just YouTube it. It's on YouTube. It's definitely on Facebook. It's easy to find it, watch the entire interview. If I didn't know you, I would have told you to watch it before this. Oh man, I wish I knew. But she expressed how when Will had thrown the party, she reacted to that because he referred to her as his wife, and she struggled with that mentally because she didn't want to be known as Will Smith's wife because he was the biggest star, and she felt like he was throwing that in her face. That is not something a wife should feel. I'm not saying Will did not do anything. I'm saying that's bad. And she took it out on him, and they almost divorced for each other. And she basically talked about how like they took their space, and basically the agreement about sleeping with other people was a part of it, blah, 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 whatever the case may be. I think she victimized herself in a lot of ways. I think she needed mental health and counseling, and whether she got that or not, I'm not aware of. But she also compared him a lot of the time and made him feel like he wasn't good enough, that she was in love with Tupac, and she compared them often to each other. That's something a man never wants to experience.
Yeah.
And if you read Will Smith's book, he talks about how he battled with not feeling like a coward. So his acting and all that stuff was him being a person that wouldn't show this cowardness, right? Because he felt like a coward for so many years. And he has a issue with pleasing people. And I know what that's like. I mean, my girlfriend tells me you don't have to please anybody. So
I don't mean to cut you off.
Yeah.
Because I picked up elements of what all that you just said.
Mm-hmm.
Like I listened to some of the Breakfast Club.
And I'm only just hitting notes. A lot of this is people have to go and research and read for yourself.
No, I really don't. I don't have to go research it because these two people in their marriage is just a lot of unnecessary fluff baggage. That why am I concerned about these people?
Yeah, and it makes you starting to feel like
they're
that.
Actors.
Yeah,
they're actors. They pretend. They get paid millions of dollars to pretend.
Yeah,
and I mean that's coming from somebody that wanted to be an actor. I know there's a lot that goes into it, and especially a lot of pressure of the business and being in the, I can only imagine what it's like to be in the spotlight. But you are. These people are.
Yeah, mind you, I also got to point out that Jada
as Jada Pickett's feelings may have been hurt from the joke, she gets to go home to her multi-millions.
Here's the thing. She would tell you that's Will's multi-millions. She would tell you that she needed to find something that was her passion because she wasn't getting the roles. She wasn't getting the stardom. She just became wife. She just became a mother and a wife. And she felt like she wasn't recognized and she wasn't respected as an actress. And she started the red table for that. And she became her own star by building up her own platform. Black woman power, black woman magic. I think that's fantastic. But it got toxic quickly.
I don't know. It's a failing in me. That I don't have much compassion.
My point to end with is that Will, the biggest lesson I learned at 27, and I hope that you can learn this at, I forget how old is he, 50 something, is that before you honor your wife, check to see if she's honoring you. Before you hit another man, put your hands on a man, embarrass yourself on TV. Check to see if those same values she carries within your relationship. Are you loyal to a fault? Because I would worry about having a woman in my life that would tell me, compare me to another man for years, to tell me that she was still in love with a man that's dead. And I understand that can be true. But after 2 children, after a long marriage, after providing for my family, doing the same thing you would have want that dead man to do, you telling me what I'm doing is not good enough. Tell me.
And that's the thing, is that all the stuff that you filled me in on, the public knows about these two people. And how much of this is them sharing themselves or publicity?
That's a good question. Do you know what I really believe? I truly believe with all my heart, Will Smith is being used by his own wife. I think she's in control. When she says something about or compares him to something, Will immediate instant as a young man, because I understand this, to automatically he goes back, he thinks about the abuse, he remembers what that was. He doesn't want to be an abusive husband. He doesn't want to be a failure as a husband, and he will do anything. It's so far that it's unhealthy that even if his own wife is acting as the enemy and out of his best interest, he will defend her. And I think that is really dangerous, and that Jada had less starlight, and she's now recognizing how to get the starlight. And it's even if it's her own husband's failure, even if it causes her husband's failure. Like,
you keep going into these intense moments about this.
Yeah, yeah, because it's representation. I'm looking at a lot of what my people do, and I'm looking at it with pride and representation. And I genuinely have thought about how I want to like view and be a part of Black media and be a part of the social media in a way. And it's all about respecting myself and Black men and finding joy in our everything we create in our artwork all around the board, and really want to see every one of them succeed, not one fail. But I don't believe that cause that anybody, even our own children and wife, if that means you freaking lose everything you build, it's not worth it. It's not worth it.
No. You know, and in the past, when I was maybe 15, 20 years younger, I would probably know the stuff that you filled me in on. You know,
Yeah.
I would pay attention. But
Yeah.
as I got older, you know, I just pay attention to that kind of stuff less. Like, oh, you know, so and so did that, did this,
Yeah.
and it's like I really don't care because
Yeah.
you know I like their movies, I like their TV shows, or I don't care because I don't like their movies or their TV
Yeah.
shows. You know, but I am upset with Will Smith because he blew his brand with me.
Yeah.
You know, when I think of Will Smith, I always, you know, get a good feeling,
American
get a happy
American
feeling. You
sweetheart.
know, he's, you
Yeah.
know, the
Yeah.
Bel Air, he's
Fresh Prince.
Independence Day, he's
Yeah.
uh,
Great father, great husband.
Hancock. You know,
Love Hancock, even if everybody else hates it.
I
Love
that movie.
Hancock. It,
I like Wild Wild West. You know, I know a lot of people didn't like that movie, but I love that movie.
yeah. Yeah, Pastor. I mean, I just don't want to see young men talk about this as like, yeah, I'm gonna smack them. It's too much of that. Like, but there are young men, you know, fighting other men for women who start problems every day.
Mm-hmm.
Every day.
That's a good point.
There are men who die defending a girl. And let me tell you, ain't nothing more sucky than realizing when she dead, brother, she'll find another man. And I talked to my girlfriend, and we had this conversation, and I asked her, would you like that if you was in that situation, you would want me to throw my, like, what would you want? And she's like, not that, you know, if I had a reaction, I would want you to talk to me about the logical part of why this is. She's like, I would probably laugh about it. It may hurt my feelings. I'm probably express it, but I would hope that you would pull Chris Rock to the side and be like, hey, she didn't really like that. My wife is sick, and that was really offended. And I'm sure Chris Rock would have walked over and said, I'm so sorry that I offended you. And most comics would. Like, that's a common thing people don't realize about comics. They're not. Most comics, from what I know, majority will apologize if they hurt you.
I heard a couple comedians talking about it, and they were saying that, you know, all comics have experienced that.
Yeah.
Most comics have a story of someone jumping up on stage and doing something like that, you know.
Yeah, it's scary.
Yeah.
It's scary for them, and they don't like it, and they would apologize. Dave Chappelle apologized and then made a joke out of his apology, but it was hilarious and it was truly apology.
Well, I just don't. I don't understand. I don't. It's not like I even try to understand the amount of flack that Dave Chappelle has taken.
Oh,
I mean, it's just.
No one can touch that man, and I won't let you touch that man.
Well, you know, why does he have to put up with it though? You know, it just shows. Like,
you want to hear something?
Unsophisticated that American culture is continuing to become.
You want to hear what I think? A young person ran this through. This was a young person. This is not even my thoughts. They said, you know what I find interesting about Dave Chappelle and Will Smith is that Dave Chappelle is the black man the black community wants to lead us. Will Smith is the black man the white community wants us to be led by.
Well, I can't comment on that.
And I say, I'm the one that just thought about, but I was about to give it to some random person that I made up in my head because I didn't want to deal with the later consequence. But F it, I said it. I thought about it. I was like, nah, it was my idea.
Well,
and
well, go ahead. And there's something I want to play for you.
If you pay attention, literal, like if you look about who's covering it, mainstream lines, that has nothing to do with the black community. But if you put your ears to the bricks in the concrete where it really matters, no offense to white listeners, no one gives a about your thought on our community and our politics. Mind your business. Like seriously, mind your business. Because you don't want us coming in your conversations, right? Police, blah, 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 and things like that. Your politics and like coming in. Like, let us work. We got our control and we're making up our rules and we decided, the black community has decided that we're not going to be your monkey in violence in terms of liberalness. In politics, you're not going to use us in an ignorant way. You're not going to crap on our name, our art, our music, our careers. We're going to start being a part of politics. We're going to do it and we're going to choose the right ones to lead us. And guess what? The people that were known as violent, they're not going to promote violence. They're going to step away and they're going to start hiring. They're going to start moving. They're already doing. Black culture is moving. It has been in the role since COVID has started. And while everybody was talking crap, we was building up our media from YouTube to TikTok to movies to music. Our everything is coming back and you can't stop that. So here's what I'm saying. Dave Chappelle speaks to the majority. Only people that attack Dave Chappelle are the same people that attack Joe Rogan. Period. You love Will Smith right now because guess what? Liberal white America says women don't do anything wrong. You're supposed to defend their honor even if they walk out, if 80% of divorces end with them stealing half your fortune.
You're close to being done, right?
I'm done right there. Because you knew I was about to get hot. I was about to make somebody angry.
I think you potentially already did, but but hey, I mean, my biggest concern lately has been the amount of censorship, so I'm not going to censor you. But I'm
not here for mainstream. I don't want to be a part of it. I'm here for my people and disabilities, black. I'm here for those guys. I'm here for this is what my career is. And you can go to Gritty Knows Best. You can go to any other platform and you can go, well, he just said that. Well, that was comedy. And I'm allowed to do that. And I'm allowed at 25 to make mistakes. And I'm allowed to make jokes and tasteless jokes. And I'm allowed to be weird. And I'm allowed to be a young adult. I'm still, guess what, a child in God's eyes. So I don't care. I don't care. I'm not 50. I'm not 60. I'm not 70. I can, even then, I'm allowed to make mistakes.
Stop.
So shut up.
Stop. I would ask you to reframe your statement. You don't care.
I don't.
Well, no. Let me finish.
Okay, yeah.
Give me the chance
go ahead.
to explain my point.
Okay.
That I would reframe it as other people's opinions of me does not hold a lot of weight with me because I'm confident in who I am.
How about this? I'll do it better because I don't like that either. I do not care about of a group, of a philosophy, of an ideology, a mindset.
Okay.
that of counseling somebody before allowing them to grow and to who they're meant to be. Everything I make and say in a year or last year, the last 4 years, was meant for me to learn, grow, and find myself.
Mm-hmm.
That is nobody else's place to cancel, judge, and bring me down because you don't have the confidence to speak in front of others
Okay.
and express yourself. It is hard and it's bravery to do any of this. So, all I'm saying to that is I don't care about sensitive mindsets. I love comedy. I have a disability. I'm an African American. I'm skinny. Come for me. It is what it is. This is what God made me to be, and I love me. And your gender, your religion, your identity, I'm coming for it too. But it's all fair and love and war. I'm coming for it because I love comedy, and comedy is beautiful, and it is an art, and it's a perfect art. It's a perfect art. So,
and in response, I like to watch Breaking Points with Crystal and Simon.
Yes. Did they say anything about any of this?
Well, Crystal felt it was out of line that he made a joke about her hair loss.
Mm-hmm.
And Sagar disagreed, and I did not agree with the way that Crystal explained her position, and my response to it was that the comedy police are exhausting.
Yes.
And that I think that a society's willingness to afford a comedian freedom to fail is indicative of the society's free thinking and freedom. I think that the public forum is it's treacherous to, number one, to try to make a joke, and number two, there are so many landmines to step on.
Yeah.
That
and this is different, and it's weird coming from like that. The weirdest part for me, and I mean this when I say this, is like I'm more scared of Democrats than I am of Republicans at this point because of like this whole freedom of speech thing, but like everything that comes from cancel culture comes from the liberal side.
Well,
and that's cringy.
The so-called left has been cheerleading censorship, but Republicans are no better. Given the right circumstances, who knows how far they would take it.
Yeah,
recently,
who knows?
In Texas, they were burning books.
Who knows? But we always consider Republicans the butt of jokes.
I don't know. I feel like that I don't have anybody to vote for.
Me neither. It's kind of scary.
I would at least go to the polls to.
I'm gonna stick to my local.
My local politicians.
Yeah, I'm sticking to my local.
The group of people, the group of Democrats that have been running the village have done such a great job over the past decade.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason this year, the leader of the Democratic Party did not endorse the mayor and at least one other trustee.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, why? I want to know why. And if I don't find out why, I'm not going to the polls.
Yeah.
I was saying to myself, well, I think the only way to really get their attention if I go walk in the ballot box and just vote Republican across the board. But after thinking about it, they still are the most dangerous political party in the world by their climate change denial.
Yeah, and that's a huge thing for me as well. Like, you could be funny until you start denying nature. Like, I don't find nothing. Well, I think anything nature does to kill us is like its way of saying stop get with me.
But now you've got Democrats that won't even sign on to,
I know.
The Green New
Because it's all an act. But let's not get there. I don't know, Pastor. Let's not do that. We got plenty of skits for that. I think we went long enough for these people to be like, oh, we're looking at them rolling off the roller coaster.
Earlier in the show, you said that you were a black man, that you were blind, and that you were skinny.
Yeah, what's up?
Come and get me.
Come and get me.
I don't think that that's something that you should invite as a blind, skinny black man.
I never said I won't hurt you. I just said come get me. I mean, like if that's
my joke. That was my inappropriate joke.
That was your inappropriate joke.
Yeah.
I mean, come and get me.
All right, let's end this episode. We end the same way every time with a prayer.
I'ma still win that fight.
All right, let us pray.
Take the wheel.
And Father God, we just come to you tonight, and Lord, as we talk about this strange situation that happened during the Oscars, that God, I ask that you be with all the parties involved, and that Lord, as we talk about it, as we think about it, as we analyze it, and as so many other people are, I ask that you be in the midst and to guide our thinking and to maybe realize something that we have not considered, and that Lord, may compassion and forgiveness prevail. So Lord, I do ask that you watch over this nation and that you do guide our leaders. I ask that you keep them out of war, and that God, I ask that they reconsider some of the directions they're going as far as censorship and shutting people down. That Lord, if we're going to get closer, we're going to understand each other. So there's got to be mistakes made along the way. And that Lord, I think that we're stronger than this. And that Lord, I think we're more resilient than this. So Lord, we look to you. I ask that you watch over Mo, and that you do consider all the desires of his heart. And I ask that they match with your will. So Lord, we ask a blessing on all that listen to the podcast tonight. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. We're going to have to start shortening your prayers because I was about to take over.
All right. Good night.